Hi, how are you? So, I'm feeling better today. Yesterday I had a lot of tooth pain. This morning I went and they took it out, and I spent a while kind of just recouping, but now I feel good. Like I can talk and I can think and I can do. So I figured I would come on and do something a little bit different tonight. I feel like things are going to start shifting. Particularly for the Starseeds, so I wanted to come in and do a reading specifically for the Starseeds and kind of talk to you guys a little bit. And also something that I noticed today. Last night I had done a reading and somebody commented on it today and they were like, this reading was all about you. So I listened to the reading back and I did, use me for instances, the things that I was going through, because I'm assuming that other people are going through it. So whenever I say something about myself, it's not like I'm trying to build myself up or just talk about myself. I try to relate to the people who watch these videos. And somebody had said something about me having an ego thing because I thought people were jealous of me. And when I listened back, what I was saying was that there was a person in my life that was jealous of the other people in my life. They literally said things to me that they were angry that I was spending more time with somebody. So I just wanted to clear that up before I went on. I'm very aware of things like that. I worry about things like that, and that's what us empaths, our starseeds do. We think about it. We don't want to go to ego. We don't want to sound a certain way. We don't want to hurt people. We don't want to go there. We want the truth from others. We want people to talk to us. We want people to tell us what we did wrong so we can fix it. But I've noticed there's this huge shift happening right now, and as a result of it, people are just not telling you. They're just up and going. And as I just said that, I've realized I've even done it to a few people. Something is just happening with the energies right now where we're being led to this certain point, and we're ricocheting off, and it's our vibrations just can't be near certain things or certain people anymore. And that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with either one of those people. It just means that right now they're not meshing. So I'm not trying to say that I'm better than anybody. I'm not trying to say that people are jealous or whatever. I'm just saying that things are happening right now. People are being triggered, and we're going into separation from certain things in our lives. And it doesn't have to just be people. It can be a lot of different things. But my focus tonight is on the Starseeds. I feel like all of the stuff that's going on right now for me is very interconnected to things that are happening galactically. And I've been, for the past few months, kind of shutting myself off a little bit from the galactic stuff. And it's not that I was shut off, it was just that I wasn't listening as much, and I wasn't acting as much, taking the information that they give to me and giving it out. I was holding back on things, and I was going back into that place that I used to go to when I first awoke, and I didn't want to share too much because I didn't want to have people think that I was crazy or weird or whatever. And I think part of that was because somebody had, there was somebody in my life, and I didn't want to scare them off. I didn't want them to think I'm crazy, psychotic, weirdo. So I was starting to hold back on a lot of things that serve. And I feel like right now, if we're doing that in any area of our lives, we're getting pushed to the point where we have to do what we're here to do. We all came in here with a mission and a purpose. We all came in with what we decided we were going to come in with. We came in and we decided before we came in who our family was going to be, our bloodlines. We decided our family, our birth date, and we pick these different things out so that we could trigger our awakening as we go through this life. And sometimes we pay attention to the triggers and we follow that information and we go down the path towards it, and sometimes we don't. And when we don't, things get out of whack, things get a little hectic, you can start feeling weird, and the things in your life that you have going on that aren't reflecting where you're supposed to be will get to this point where it just gets taken away because it can't stay in that vibration anymore. So whether you're aware or conscious or not, if you've signed up to come in on a certain frequency and a certain level, you're going to go through those shifts. You're going to go through the upgrades. You're going to go through the downloads, regardless of if you're hey, I'm doing this or not, because you were already pre-programmed, pre-designed before you came to do these things. whether you're aware of it or not is a whole other level. And that's like what we want to talk about tonight too, is as a starseed, as somebody who's come in with a mission and a purpose, if you're not in alignment with it, you're going to start feeling icky. You're not going to feel good. And I feel like a lot of people who have that starseed label also get labeled like bipolar, because we are transmuters and we are shifting all the time, and things affect us a lot. So if something makes us sad, it makes us sad, but we process it quickly and we go through it, and then we vibrate up high and we're happy. And then something else can happen and it can mess up our vibration. We come down, but we don't stay there. And that's also a result of the awakening. That's a result of like the learning that you've been going through and the frequency upgrades that you've had, because you're now separating from ego. You're now separating from false beliefs and illusion and all of that. You don't want to remain there. And if you're around others who haven't come to the same experience that you are, or maybe they've already gone through the experience you have and they're somewhere else, then those energies just won't mesh. So in no ways am I saying that anybody is better than anybody else. These messages are going to be specifically for those who kind of understand this whole concept of what a starseed is. You know, we've got the Pleiadians, the Lyrians, Sirians, Arcturians, Andromedans, Vegans, Avians. I connect with all of them. I channel all of them. I bring through their messages, and lately I've been hearing a lot, but I haven't been speaking on it. I haven't been putting it out to the collective. I haven't been sharing it, and I feel like some of what's going on in my life is a result of that. I need to get back into that. I need to start doing my work here, because there is something greater than me, you know, in my little mundane 3D world that I'm here to assist with. And we all are. If you're watching this, you're here to do this work. You're here to anchor light. And it's not like you have to go and, you know, record a video and share it with the world. You don't have to do anything big or scary. A lot of people are like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, what does it mean? What is my mission? What is my purpose? People get freaked out about it. Your mission and your purpose is to basically just hold a vibration and a frequency. You're an antenna for energy. And regardless of how much you want to pay attention to it or not, will dictate if you're going to wake up. Sorry, my candle went out, and I don't want the wax to get too built up in there. Alright, so we have all these different things that we've decided to do before we come in. You're here to do it. You're here to awaken. You're here to anchor light. No matter where you go, what job you have, what things you do, you're still doing it. But you do want to have a conscious awareness of what you're doing. Because as that person, as that beacon of light, you're going to attract all different types of things. You're going to attract light. You're going to attract likeness. You know, like the universe works in like whatever you're rippling out is going to be rippled back to you. So we have to remember that too. When we're being triggered by things, look at it and be like, why is this triggering me? What inside of me is being shown to me? But also, it ripples out and it attracts darkness sometimes, and sometimes you can get attacked, and sometimes you can have things come at you, and you have lessons and you have things that you need to go through. And one of the big things for the starseeds is boundaries. And the first card that came out was boundaries, and it says, where do you need to establish better boundaries? I don't know if you're going to be able to see that well. So as a starseed, as you're holding that light, the people who come to you are either going to like be drawn to you, and they're going to want to like work with your energy. They're going to ask for your help. You're going to want to have boundaries with that. First of all, you want to make sure that like when you're around people, you're not just giving and giving and giving, and you want to make sure that you're having boundaries like with your intention. So a lot of the starseeds innately have this thing inside of them where they want to help others. And you know, you can see somebody walk by you and you can tell that they need something, and your mind goes there and you think about it. That's your intention. So in that moment of you seeing, like, say there's a little old lady struggling, and you're like, ah, and your empathy, you send your energy to that woman because you feel, oh my God, I want to help. So you do. You send energy to that, but you send a cord, and that cord stays with that woman, and it continues to drain from you because you're not aware of it. And this happens all the time. And it happens in good ways and it happens in bad ways. Sometimes it can happen while you're in traffic. Somebody cuts you off and you're like, ugh, and there's another cord. And you're not aware of it. And there's also this big, huge collective thing too. So like whenever we have like these big things happen, like 9/11, even 9/11, if you look, you can see like they actually have a way to kind of monitor the activity of like our awareness. Like a lot of people, like the energy, like people became aware before it even happened. And then when it happened, it was like, wah. So we get bombarded by collective energy too. And as a starseed, you're more sensitive to it because you're not from this vibration. You're not from this density. You're not from a physical reality. Having this to deal with is totally different for us. We've adapted to it. We've gotten used to it over our years here. But we've also always known underneath that there's something else. There's something more. When we look up at the stars at night, we feel something inside of us calling us. We talk to the stars. And like for me, in the beginning of all this, I started talking to the stars and the stars were talking back. And I thought I was nuts. And it wasn't like they were like, hi, Bridget. But, you know, they were acting like a pendulum. I would ask them to show me yes, and the star would move a certain way. I'd ask them to show me no, and the star would move a certain way. So then I would start asking questions. And I'd say, are you the Pleiadians? And I'd get a yes. And I'd say, are you the Sirians? And I'd get a no. So I knew I was like getting confirmation from that. But that was information that I wasn't going to tell anybody at the time because I didn't really have anybody. I didn't have a community. I didn't have people who like understood. So I kept it to myself. But we have this calling inside of us to work with all of this energy. We have this energy to give to the earth. But it's very important that we have these boundaries that we place around us and that we're not just giving and giving and giving. So when you get up in the morning, or even just in this moment right now, like your intention is really, really powerful. So you want to set the intention that when you go out into the world, if you see somebody hurting or you see somebody that pisses you off or whatever, take that intention that you are protected from it, that you can send unconditional love to it, but you don't allow it to drain you. You don't allow it to continue to take from you. You don't allow it to like be stored in your memory bank or in your cellular memories because you got enough of your own inside of there. And in regards to boundaries, if there's people in your life who are constantly like, the starseeds are people pleasers. They just want to help. They're the indigos, the crystals, the like however you want to label yourself, a light worker, an empath. You want to help. You see things that are wrong with the world and you want to shift it. You want to help it. But you can't do it alone, and you can't give because then you become depleted and there's nothing left inside of you. And that again can take you down and bring your vibration to a place where you're not feeling well, and things can manifest in your body. You know, I had an interaction last week, a couple of days ago, and you know, my reaction to that and the way that I was feeling in regards to that certain situation, I feel did affect me physically. I feel like it like manifested inside of my tooth. And people might think that's crazy, but you know, anger, resentment, sadness, grief, all of that stuff does manifest inside of your body. And if you're holding on to a belief about something, if you're thinking something's toxic, then you're going to create toxicity inside of your body connected to it. Like our liver is connected to anger. You know, if you're having lower back pain, start thinking about what you're angry about. What are you so mad at? And then ask, use your intention. Doesn't matter who you ask. You can ask your I Am Presence. You can ask Creator. You can ask God. You can ask the angels. You can ask Pleiadians. I don't mind whatever. Ask whomever you would like. But ask that you're clearing that energy out, that you're allowing yourself to release the things that aren't serving you, and have boundaries with yourself. You know, don't allow yourself to beat the shit out of yourself. Don't allow your thoughts to beat yourself up. Create these boundaries in your life and you won't be struggling so much. You won't want to, you know, and when you have those boundaries and you have that firmness to be able to like be like, no, I'm not doing it, instead of like, oh, well, I've got to, you know, we always want to make excuses. We can never just say no. We can never just firmly be like, no, I'm not doing that, and let it go. There's always like that desire inside of us to want to help or to fix or to heal. And that's why we get caught in these relationships too with people where we're constantly like, oh, I'm sorry, and we want to fix it, or we want to give, or we want to help, and we like do things we really don't want to do just to help support somebody else. Like I've literally given money to people for things I don't want just because I know they need the money. And then there's been times that like I've given so much healing to somebody, like, you know, it was supposed to be a deal it was supposed to be this for this, and then it ends up just going like way overboard. But that's as a result of no boundaries. I didn't put boundaries on myself. I didn't say no. I didn't allow it to stop. And it's not their fault that I had no boundaries. It's my fault, because I was like, oh, it's fine, oh, it's fine, oh, it's fine. And then I continue to allow it to go and go and go. And as the Starseeds, if you've been doing this, if you've been having that happen in your life, if you've been quieting yourself down as like because you don't want certain people to know certain things, or you don't want to be labeled crazy, or you don't want anybody mad at you, or you're afraid that, you know, you're going to make somebody upset or sad, you got to stop. You got to put yourself up here and let everybody else come down here. And it doesn't mean you're being evil or an ego or like whatever. It just means that you're putting yourself first, so that when somebody does need you, you can give them something. Because when you're constantly down here, like, you know, in 1,000 different directions and doing all these different things you don't want to do, your energy just becomes like depleted. You become sad, you become resentful, you become angry, and then you start manifesting more shit into your life that's on that same vibration. So you start manifesting more people in your life who are like, oh, let me take, let me suck, let me do this, let me do that. And if you get up in the morning and you have like a bad thought, you just set the day off in that bad vibration. So you have to be controlling of your mind, of your energy, of your frequency, of your boundaries, who you're connecting with. And as a result of this, as a result of us stepping up and like saying, okay, I'm going to have boundaries now, and I'm not going to do this unless it serves me, you may find that you lose a lot of people in your life that were once there. And it's because they want what you were giving before. They don't like it when you change. They don't like it when you pull your energy back. They don't like it when you stop, you know, bending over backwards, basically. And they may not even be aware of it consciously. They might just, you know, feel like there's been a shift and like, I just don't like that anymore. It feels different. And basically what it is that you've created boundaries. So if you haven't created boundaries yet, it's time to really start doing it. If you have created boundaries and you're having like a shift in the people who are in your life, if you're having a shift in like the things that are coming in for you, just know that it's a result of this. Stay strong with it. Cut the cords. Don't go down into those low vibrations. Don't stay in those low vibrations. Don't allow anybody to trigger you. If you're, you know, focusing on another person, or you are worried about a situation, or you're worried about something that happened with somebody and you're not getting closure from it, you gotta like cut the cord to it and just accept it the way that it is. Accept the apologies that you've never received. You know, apologize to those who won't allow you to apologize to them. Just accept the way things are and move forward with these healthy boundaries so that you don't manifest more of this in your future. And this can be in regards to all types of things. Like, it could be how you are in relationships. Like, you know, if you've got any codependency inside of you, if you have any patterns inside of you, like if you've got any like addictions, like if you know something's bad for you but you continuously do it, you know, you've got to set those boundaries up for yourself so that you start protecting that vibration that you're emitting. And a lot of times we do, like I find the Starseeds do different things to escape, because they don't want to feel anymore, because they feel so much. They feel the collective, they feel the sadness, the anger, the resentment, they feel the animals, they feel the earth, they feel that something's not right here, and it can be very depressing, and it can bring you down. And then you go around other people who are, you know, in the matrix or in this like 3D program where their focus is just on bullshit. It's all about money and ego and like who's got this and who's got that, and you know, oh, I better do this because this is what I'm supposed to do. Nobody thinks for themselves anymore. Nobody, you know, the people who are awake can think for themselves, but the people who are still like living in the 3D, they're not thinking for themselves and they're not doing things right. And when you're around them, it's draining for your energy, because you have to kind of deal with them on their level too. Like and this again is where we need to establish those boundaries and don't hold back. If you're near somebody and they're talking about something that just doesn't resonate, you just excuse yourself from it, or speak your truth about it and plant the seeds to them to help them awaken, so that they realize the shit that they're focused on, the things that they're thinking about, aren't serving them. I've seen a lot of stuff happening with people, like, and it's all a result of what they're thinking and feeling. And I've been seeing it with myself. Like, I spend a lot of time thinking about this because I understand the universe, I understand energy. I take responsibility for my part in anything that manifests in my life that's not good, and I take responsibility for my part when it manifested. It's awesome. But we do have to be mindful of that and start, practicing these boundaries, planting the seeds, speaking your truth. Don't hold back what you want to say anymore. Don't be afraid of who's going to think what, because you don't need that. You want to feel good in this world. You want to have a high vibration in this world, and you don't want to be surrounded by those who are going to pull and take away from you. And the other card that came out for this overall energy right now, the overall things that are going on for the Starseeds, is play, have fun, celebrate, and don't be so serious, which I think is perfect, because as a result of this, as a result of maybe you not having boundaries, you may have lost your want or desire to go out. You don't want to be around people anymore because they just take from you. And you can start putting yourself in that low vibration of, I'm just going to stay home. I don't want to deal with people anymore. I don't want to do this. And then you're in a low vibration and you're depressed. And then you can go on social media, and things on there could trigger you. And it's, again, setting boundaries there. If somebody on there's triggering you, or if you're seeing something that's triggering you, stop looking. Take it away. Block it, delete it, just disengage from whatever is causing you to feel a lower vibration. You want to raise yourself up into this vibration of play, and get rid of that serious ooh, everything sucks, because that's what you're going to manifest more of. So if you're having healthy boundaries and you're cutting off the ties to those who are pulling and draining from you, it'll be easier for you to rise up and to feel good. Every single day as I go through these shifts and all of these things, I find that I go up and down, but this is the best place to be. And getting out and going to the ocean really does serve you, or even to a pond or whatever, wherever you live. Getting to a big place of water will really help assist and cleanse, especially if you have Syrian energy. I find the Syrian energy really connects with water. If you don't have that ability to get near water, take a shower, take a bath, and set the intention that you're cleansing your entire body. And that will kind of reset you into that playful energy. Anytime I take a shower, I feel amazing afterwards. I feel okay, I can do whatever I want. And then I know that too. And then there's times knowing that I don't hold on to that understanding of myself, and then I'll put it off and put it off and put it off, and then feel like shit all day, and then finally get in the shower and feel great, but put pajamas back on because I wasted my day being miserable. So instead of doing things like that, I gotta have that boundary with myself and make myself be accountable so that I can start having this playful energy. So if you've been feeling sad, if you've been feeling down, if you've been having people in your family or your soul tribe or your community breaking off, if your relationships are coming to an end, maybe you're having issues with your romantic life, maybe you're having issues with your family, maybe you're having issues at work and things are just not meshing right, that's going to leave you in a place of where it's kind of difficult for you to want to play or have fun. But you kind of have to get yourself out there and just do it. What fills you up, what makes you happy, what makes you laugh. Even if it's something stupid like putting on a funny movie or whatever, just disconnect from whatever's bringing you down and get into this vibration of rising up, because that's really going to pull you up, and it's going to assist you with these boundaries, and it's going to assist you in maintaining your vibration. And the next card is Soul Family. Call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. So I was asking about our feelings. And I feel again, it's a result of all of this. Of us not having those boundaries, we may be shifting our soul tribe. The people in our lives who we thought were close to us, that were going to be our friends for life, whatever. You may be coming to the end of contracts with certain people. And again, as a starseed, before you came into this place, before you came into this life, you chose your parents, you chose your date of birth, you chose your bloodline, you chose all of these different aspects that were going to be a part of your life here. And you came in and you forgot, but they were all there to rekindle, reawaken, and to assist you in going through bullshit. And I call it bullshit because we go through so much of it. You go through all these lessons so that you can assist others, so that you can understand more. We come in and we sign up for a lot because we have never been in, some of us have been here, but we're not used to being in this 3D body. We're not used to these limitations. we understand that there's more out there. We're not limiting ourselves to this little world and thinking that everything just exists here around us. There's 100 billion galaxies in just the area that we can see right now with what we have for our technology. And in each one of those 100 billion galaxies is 100 billion stars. And 100 billion stars times, say, 7 planets, the chances of life being other places is huge. And realizing that consciousness is in everything anyway helps you to realize, like, there's a bigger part here. There's a bigger thing here. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than the bullshit. It's bigger than, oh my God, somebody said this and somebody did that and blah. And, going back and forth with resentment and anger. And it's all a result of this, of not having healthy boundaries and not speaking what you want and not being able to rise up and, like, have fun. What makes you happy? Start doing the things that make you happy, and I guarantee you the people that like and enjoy that too and are going to resonate on a soul level will show up, and I know there's days like I feel like people are at this point right now where, like, sometimes you just want to give up. You don't want to go on anymore, particularly those who are, like, doing this type of work. Like, if you're a healer or reader, if you're a light worker, if you usually are, like, happy and, like, sending out love and light and all of that to people, you may be like, you know what, I give up. Because there's just this lack of love being returned to us right now. We're not receiving it from, our friends and our family. And it's not that we're not receiving it from them. It's just like we're cut off from it. We're not seeing it. We're not resonating on the same level. Like, our idea of love might be right here, and their idea of love is, like, somewhere over here. And eventually they might come together, but you would rather find somebody else that's right here with you right now so that you can communicate, that you can have that fun, that you can, start practicing those healthy boundaries. When you find somebody vibrating on the same frequency as you, you automatically have this understanding between you. And there may be people coming into your life right now for a short time just to kind of be like a catalyst to, like, assist you in this. So be mindful, pay attention, trust your intuition, speak your truth. From day one, when anybody you meet from now on, just put it all out there on the table. There's no reason to pull anything back. There's no reason to keep anything to yourself. Just, put it all out there so that people know what they're dealing with, so that if they resonate with you, they resonate with you. If they don't, they don't. Like, I've gotten to this point now where, like, I just don't care what anybody thinks anymore, because I spent so many years worrying about that, having no boundaries and doing everything for everybody else and not having the fun that I wanted to have fun. Like, every time I was at something where you're supposed to be having fun, I was always stressed out and running around and trying to help. And now it's like, why? It wasn't even worth it. It was like, the amount of time, energy, and effort put into it for what was returned is just like, why would you do that to yourself? Why would you continuously do that and leave yourself so imbalanced? So we need to really become mindful of that as we're working in the world, as we're working with others, as we're finding people. And don't just cling to, like, the first person that you think, has a similarity. I find that there's a lot of people out there right now that are kind of just, like, lost, and they're like, they just don't want to be alone. And they're, like, reaching out to anybody, and it's not this authentic thing. It's kind of just like a energy of, like, I kind of don't know what to do with myself, and they want you to help them. They sense that you can help them, but you have to, again, have those boundaries up, because if you come and you allow everybody who has an issue or problem to just show up and you fix everything for them, then you start having fun and you manifest these soul tribes and these people who don't vibrate on the same frequency. So you have to have those strong boundaries in place before you can even manifest the proper soul family or the proper people who are around you. And it's not that you have to be serious about it. You can have fun and be like, listen, like, I'm a very sarcastic person. I find a lot of the Starseeds are, they're funny. Like, they're able to laugh at this world because we've dealt with so much of the bullshit here, and we've dealt with, like, just the craziest shit that people don't even understand. And so you get to this point where you're kind of like, So you can have fun and be serious and set boundaries. You don't have to be like, fuck you, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. Like, have some balance between things and have some understanding that this is a galactic thing, and, like, everything you're going through is huge. It's for a big purpose. It's not just like a little tiny thing that's happening. And the more of you that are awakening and coming together and, you know, going through these lessons and these, like, understanding, the higher the vibration is going to emit, and the more abundance you're going to bring in, and the more alignment you're going to bring in. You're going to find your true peeps. You're going to find your true purpose. You're going to find the answers to what you've been asking. You know, everything is inside of you. I've said this all along. Like, all of the answers that you're looking for are inside of your mind. It's about tapping in and finding them, trusting your intuition, and not allowing anybody on the outside to influence how you feel about that. You know, and that's, again, a part of those boundaries that we need to set. In these type of communities, there's often people who are readers, who are healers, who are intuitive, who pick up on things. Maybe you go get a reading with somebody and they say a bunch of things and you're like, okay. And then you hold on to that in the back of your head. And now if they said anything that kind of freaked you out or, you know, made you like, oh, fuck, those are where your thoughts are. So guess what starts to manifest? The fear that you're thinking of. And then you start seeing it around you. And so you can start becoming paranoid of things. And when you get readings from people, you know, you have to take what resonates for you. If something doesn't resonate or sound right, then don't take it. Especially like readings like this, because this is for like a wide range of people. Like, this isn't just, hey, the Pleiadian. Like, this is all of you guys. Like, and a lot of you hold different vibrations from each place. You know, there's people who had gone from Lyra to Sirius and then to the Pleiades and so on and so forth, has had so many different lifetimes in different places. So you may resonate with a lot of different things, and you may hold a lot of different light codes inside of you that do different things. You may be a manifester, you may be a crystal worker, you may be a healer, an empath, a channel. It doesn't really matter what you are. It's just you need to realize what gift you've got inside of you and start utilizing it, tapping in with those boundaries. Don't allow the things of others to manipulate your mind and your knowing. Don't take things that don't really resonate with you and turn them into your reality. Like, we really need to start being mindful of everything we're thinking, everything we're doing, everybody that we're surrounded with, and like our energy and our time. You know, I think a lot of people forget too, like specifically, like if you're in this type of community, sometimes people can forget that you have to have boundaries. You have to, like, you don't always have time for everybody. A lot of people want to talk, and it's because they're drawn to you because they feel safe to tell you all of these things. But if you're having firm boundaries, you know, you don't give away all of that time and energy to them. You know, I had a friend recently who was constantly on the phone, you know, with these big, huge, long messages. And it was like basically giving out readings through text. And I used to do that before. I used to do like these readings over the phone. You know, I had a person in my life that would call me and be like, can I just ask you this? And then I would end up like channeling for all this whole time. And so you end up, you know, delivering these messages and doing these things. And it becomes uneven because there's no boundary there. There's no even exchange. There has to be an energy exchange. It's okay to call up your friend or to text your friend or to give each other like a pat on the back and give a little bit of advice. But when you start like, you know, if it takes more than an hour of your time, then you know you need to have something come back. You need to start manifesting relationships that are balanced. You don't want to be the only one giving. You don't want to be the only one taking. You want to manifest the balance. Like I had somebody else in my life recently that was always wanting to give. And, you know, give me this, give me that, do. And they were always doing it. And because I'm always doing stuff with other people, I wasn't always like up to doing it back, you know, and I would feel bad. But they would always be like, oh, don't worry about it. And I feel like over time, our energy separated partly because of that, because the energy was imbalanced and I could feel it. And I felt like that person was starting to feel like they were being used, or that I was only wanting them to do those things. And that wasn't the case, you know. It was basically a misunderstanding and not having boundaries up and not honoring ourselves and not speaking our truth. So if you're having different things like that go on in your life, whether you're the person receiving or you're the person giving, you got to set up something so you can make an equal, even balance. Hey, Halcyon. This is Halcyon. Anytime I do anything connected to the stars, Halcyon wants to come. Alcyon's the brightest star of the Pleiades. Huh. Yeah. She's sitting on my lap like a person. All right. And then I also have Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? And it kind of looks like Mother Mary, but this is the galactic mother. You know, this is the galactic energy. And the card is asking, like, how can you mother yourself? How can you love yourself? How can you treat yourself in a way that your mom would? And I do feel like this is another big thing for the Starseeds right now. You may have had a lot of people in your life showing up that were holding like a mom vibration. For me, I had a lot of people in my community that I like, you know, they were a little bit older. I always resonate with people who are older than me, and it's not like I don't like people my own age. It's just like I usually get along with people who are a little bit older because they're not so caught up in things that the younger generations are. It's not all about, you know, bullshit. It's not about ego and separation. And I'm not saying that everybody who's younger is like that. I'm just saying I tend to find that the older people have, you know, been around a little bit longer. They understand it, they see it, they recognize it. So I often am drawn to older people. Even men, like a lot of the guys that I dated over my lifetime, they were always a lot older than me, because I find that the guys that are the same age are very immature. They don't have the same wisdom or the same energy that somebody a little bit older does. And it's because we're walking around in old souls. But if you had that type of energy in your life, if you had like the mother figure in your life, I feel like it's going to shift right now, because it's time for us to step into the energy of mothering ourselves. You know, I was having all these people outside of me holding my mother energy, and then my mom, my real mom, passed away. And after she passed away, I found out that like, it had upset her that I had called one of my friends like my spirit mom. And I never knew that before. And then I, you know, reflected on it, and I thought about it. And a lot of like the stuff that's been going on as a result of like boundary issues and confidence and things like that, just having a shift in like my focus and like where I'm going. And I know, like, because of things, you know, certain things are said here and there, like the people who were holding that vibration have separated and they've like moved out of my life. I'm not connecting with anybody who's holding the mom vibration anymore. I have one left out of like 5. So it's really that call for us to step into that nurturing for ourselves. How can you mother yourself rather than looking to somebody else, you know, to give you guidance or to assist you or to love you or to deliver something to you? You want to deliver it to yourself. How would you mother somebody else? Like, if you're Starseed, if you're a Divine Feminine, you have that nurturing ability inside of you. So you really need to start nurturing yourself. Treat yourself the way that your mother would have treated you. And as you do that, you're going to also be connecting with the energy of Gaia, our Mother Earth here. And you want to like allow her to nurture you. Like, there's this call right now to really get down deep into the earth and to like take your intention and like see a tube of light going all the way down through your body into the earth, down into like the womb of the earth, into the core. And just allow yourself to deliver all of the unconditional love, energy, and frequency that's coming through us right now, because there's a lot of it, and Mother Earth needs it. And she needs you to nurture her as well, because she's been working hard. She's been doing it for everybody. She provides us with everything we need to survive here. And what do? We destroy the planet. So you're a beacon of light. Part of your mission here as a light worker, as a starseed, is to anchor in that energy and that frequency down into the core of Earth. So you have to start doing that, and you have to do it with the intention that you're nurturing her, envisioning, creating a new reality. Like, what would it look like? What would it feel like? What would it taste like? What would it smell like to live on an earth that is free of pollution, that is free of like these endangered animals, that is free of like the climate change and the shifting that's going on, free from ego, free from separation, free from like all these imaginary lines that say you live there and you live there. Like, we should all just be one beautiful place here. Like, there's enough here for everybody, but we all want to fight over it. We want to, you know, go into that ego and into that separation, and, you know, I have this, so I'm better than you, and, you know, deciding what is good and what is bad based out of false programming that was ingrained into people as a child, and it's also ingrained into the DNA, into the cells, and into all of that. So I feel now is a time that is coming up to the surface, and as that comes up to the surface, You need to nurture yourself, because you're going to be purging a lot. And as we purge, your physical body is going to go through a lot of different stuff too. You're going to have physical pain in different places, and it's going to manifest in places depending upon how you feel. If you're sad, it may manifest like in your heart. If you're not speaking up, it's going to manifest in your throat. Like, I was having throat problems for weeks, and it was because I wasn't just being able to be like, what the fuck? And now I can. Like, I got to the point where I was like, fuck it, I don't care, I'm speaking my truth. Like, again, I was holding back, and I wasn't saying the things I wanted to say because I didn't want to hurt anybody or ruffle any feathers, and I wasn't putting myself as my truth. We just need to speak what is inside of us so that we can vibrate out and allow ourselves to like really heal and shift. And it doesn't mean that you're coming from a place of attacking anybody. You're just getting it out. You need to process, you need to heal. Like, if you have a scratchy throat, if you're always coughing, if you can't swallow right, if you get some issues going on, like if you're just, when you want to talk, if the words don't come out right, it's because you're not allowing yourself to really speak your truth. And you have to find a way that you're able to do so, that, you know, is safe for you, that you feel good with boundaries, and, you know, that opens you up to that playful energy, but also is nurturing yourself. You know, imagine that you're talking to your mom. Talk to yourself and like tell your mom or tell yourself what's been going on in your life, you know, and then answer yourself how you would expect the mom energy to answer you. Like, you know, what words of encouragement would your mother give to you? What would she tell you to focus on? And if your mother's not, you know, like that, because a lot of the starseeds come into dysfunctional families, particularly the Blu-rays. You can come into a family that's like really messed up. I know starseeds a lot of times can lose parents before they're like a certain age. There's a lot of stuff that we go through. So if you never got to really know your Earth Mother, you know, you have an idea inside of you, like innately inside of you, what a mother is and what a mother does and what a mother would say to make you feel better. So you need to embody that and mother the earth, mother yourself, mother your friends, mother everybody in your life. And I don't mean like smother, I just mean be in that place of understanding, of compassion. You know, use the wisdom that you've attained over time. Allow the healing to take place that's happening right now, because we really are going through a lot, and it's happening in our cells, it's happening in our atoms, in our DNA. It's all levels. It's not just like one little thing going on. When it comes into us, it's big, and it shifts, and it like goes out and it ripples out, and then it like lights something else up, and that ripples in and it lights something else up, and you can feel like you're going crazy because one minute you're like here, the next minute you're here, one minute you love this person, the next minute you can't stand this person. Like, again, it's just like a very bipolar type of thing. But when you start to nurture yourself, when you put up those boundaries, when you honor the fact that you're bringing in light, and you start cutting the cords to the people and the places and the things that are just draining from you, and you start to like treat yourself as a temple. The next card is Inner Temple Devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. When you start doing that, when you start treating yourself with that understanding and that love, things are going to shift around you. Your life is going to get easier. Things are going to start happening more and more, and it's going to speed up, and you're going to assist in manifesting things into your life that you already are destined to be with, and you're going to remember more of yourself. I feel like there's a lot of stuff happening right now with those who have like the Rh negative blood. I know not a lot of people talk about it. There's not a lot of information that was like shared before. Like, it's kind of like the society just doesn't mention it. But 15% of the population has the Rh negative blood. And those people do not have the rhesus gene, which the rhesus gene comes from a monkey. So, you know, it throws out the evolution thing that everybody evolved from apes. And there's different theories surrounding like where this bloodline came from. Some people say that it came from the Anunnaki. Some people say that it came from the Basque population. Some people say that it was just because of this or that. And like, some people say it was like a dinosaur type of thing. So there's all different types of like things out there that people think in regards to this. But either way, the science that has been proven about it is that those who have the Rh negative are typically those who are empathic. They have psychic abilities. They're intuitive. They do this type of work. They're the starseeds. They're the ones that have been reported to have, been abducted. Hi, Monoman. They're the ones that, like, you have a lower blood pressure, lower temperature. Your body may have a different temperature than others. You may have an extra vertebrae. Like for me, I have a very long torso. My temperature is always low, and my blood pressure is always low. And of course, I have intuitive abilities. So I found that out one day, and I was like, what does this mean? Because the doctor was like, oh, you have to have this shot. And I was like, why? And it's because if I didn't have this shot and somebody who had positive blood and I got together and we're going to make a baby, my body would kill the baby. And I was like, that's weird. So I started looking into it, and then I realized, like, okay, this is not right. The only time this has ever happened inside of, like, our planet is when a donkey and a mule come together, and it's because it's two different species trying to mix, and that's where the term the blue bloods come from. Because back in the day, the royals would only integrate with Rh negative. They wanted to keep the bloodline pure, and this goes all the way back into ancient Egypt. This has been happening for years. They would marry their daughters, and the daughters would marry their brothers, and so on and so forth. But it was because they were keeping that bloodline pure, because they thought it was special. It was the bloodline of the gods. But then they would start having babies that were all screwed up, and they called them the blue babies, blue blood, because they would come out blue. A lot of babies would die. A lot of problems would happen. And it just shows you that, like, something was not right there. Like, if I'm a human and you're a human, our blood, like, we should be able to have a child without my body, like, rejecting it and trying to kill it like it's some foreign thing. So that in itself was something that was a big key for me. So if you have that type of blood, looking into that can be something that's going to assist you in further your awakening, furthering, like, the downloads and the information that come in, and you'll be guided into the information that you need to find. And I find that happens anyways. Like, sometimes it's like I get this kick and I, like, just need to know everything about one certain thing, and it just downloads and it comes in, and then I get my confirmation from other places, or everywhere I go it's synchronicity connected to it. I feel like we're going to have an increase in remembering our past lives too right now, and it's going to be like a trigger. So if you had a past life, like if you were here for Atlantis when it fell, you may start being triggered by different things, like the hurricanes coming. Like, it can trigger that fear inside of you. You don't want to go there because you don't want to manifest that happening. Starseeds also have the ability to manipulate the weather. I want you to start paying attention to that too, because when you're not in a good mood, if you're sad, watch the weather, see what happens. When you're happy, look at the weather, see what happens. And I'm not saying it's going to be every single day, but, like, just in this, like, as the stronger you get, the more powerful it becomes. Living here, there's literally been a few times that I've had events here and people come and they're like, why is it not raining here? Like, it would be raining for 5 miles around here, and we have, like, this little circle out in the yard and there's not a drop on it. And it's like, it was like I was, I opened the vortex and I asked for it to not rain, and it didn't. But the more conscious awareness you bring to things, the more power that you have over your consciousness to realize that everything here is just a reflection of your thoughts. You can manifest whatever you want, but you have to manifest what's in alignment with you. And be careful with the weather thing. Like, you don't want to, like, push off a winter storm, because it's going to come back like a blizzard. Like, you can push off a little bit of rain for a little bit, but it is eventually going to rain. You don't want to manipulate it too much. You want to be safe with that stuff, but pay attention to how it reacts to your energy anyways. Like, the energy around your home, the energy in your room. When you're not feeling well, what do you do? Like, for me, I have to go around and I clean everything, and I Palo Santo everything, and I scrub the floors, and I change the bed, and I change this, and I change the layout of the crystals. And it's because I'm moving energy and frequency, and nothing here is even solid. Like, these crystals are just all energy and vibration. It's frequency. And literally, you can change the energy of this by just your intention and programming it. And you have to realize that. You have to realize how powerful you are. Tuning into yourself, going in to your heart, asking the information that you already have downloaded and programmed into yourself, and trusting it. Whether it's through automatic writing, whether it's through channeling and speaking, whether it's through giving yourself a reading, whether it's just going outside and meditating and connecting and listening to the messages that come through you. Just set your intention. And if you want to receive messages from a specific place or person, ask. You know, there's so many different things that you can do that you are innately brought in with. You are a powerful manifester. There's a lot that you have inside of you that's being activated right now. There's a lot going on. Sometimes it's going to feel real shitty, but if you can stay in that place, in that inner temple, and not allow all the bullshit outside of you to take from your happiness and to take from your fulfillment, you're going to feel better. And for those who are going through different things, like with their twin flame journey, you really do need to bring the focus inside on yourself. I feel like a lot of people have been focusing their energy in the wrong place, whether it was the wrong person or the wrong time or the wrong place. I feel like a lot of us have been focusing on things that weren't serving us as a result of having no boundaries, you know, as a result of allowing people to like manipulate and do what they want. Like, there's a fine line between, like, when you hear the characteristics of a twin flame and the way that the runner acts, you know, there's a fine line between that and like somebody who's just treating you poorly. So you want to be aware of that, and you want to own up to that. You don't want to continuously allow yourself to be hurt. So if you're in a situation with somebody who consistently hurts you, where your boundaries go flying out the window, it's time to place some boundaries around yourself. Connect with the people like that are gonna jive with your soul. Ask for the healing and cleansing. Call on the Syrians, because they work with your emotional body, and that will work with your relationships, and that will bring you that alignment. You can ask Spirit, you can ask the I Am Presence of yourself to deliver you confirmation. If you're starting to doubt something, you know, ask. But also realize that you can manipulate the things that come in if you believe it too much. Like, if you're like, I know this is my twin, and you ask for a sign, then you're going to manifest it happening. But if you can, like, separate yourself from, like, feeling that way, you can separate yourself and come into a place of, like, all right, I just need to know. And be open to it being a no. Be open to it being a yes. Like, you know, just take yourself out of that mix and allow the answer to be delivered to you for your confirmation. And whatever it is, it doesn't matter if it is or it isn't, you still need to have those boundaries in place, and you still want to be working with the people that are going to serve you. And I feel like, you know, some of those people who are coming together are on that same frequency. So there will be union for some people, but for others, they're just too far apart right now. And, you know, as this one continues to awaken and shine and do their work, you know, it will eventually ripple down to this one and help them rise up. But if not, there will be another person that comes in to vibrate together, whether it's a soulmate or, you know, a life partner, a friend. Sorry. It doesn't matter. But as long as you're mothering yourself, loving yourself, playing, having fun, the right people will come surround you. Stop giving away your time and your energy to people who don't deserve it. Stop giving away your time and your energy to doubt, fear, lack. Start focusing on what you're here to do. Start focusing on how amazing you really are inside. Like, start manifesting. Stop feeling like you want to give up. Everybody's like, you know, going back and forth from this, like, fuck it, I don't care anymore. But you do, or you wouldn't even say it. So if you care about something in your life, you got to start making the necessary changes in your life to assist you and to assist the others in your life and to assist your mission here and your purpose here. I asked what we need right now, and the keepers of the earth, what we need you to know, keepers of the earth, you are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. And again, I feel like it's connected to the bloodline. It's connected to your galactic family as well. So like, here you are in this physical body that you manifested in. You chose this body, you chose this family, you chose this karmic whatever. Because whatever body you're in, the people that were here in the physical, you know, like your grandmother, your great-grandmother, blah, 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 they all lived a physical 3D life. And everything they went through has been passed down into your genetics. So if there's limiting beliefs that they were holding on to, guess who's got to clear it out? You. If there was something else inside of you from them, you got to clear it out. Like, if there was trauma way back, somebody was like raped or molested or hurt or killed, whatever, you have to clear that stuff out of you. You have to be aware of it. You're here to change the system. You're here to change and break that pattern of passing that down. And I do feel like the RH negative thing, like, it's almost like you come in with that safety thing so that you don't reproduce with the wrong people. And I'm not saying that like they're the wrong people because of they're different, but I feel like if you're not ready to bring forth another person, if you're not ready to nurture someone properly, if you haven't healed all of the stuff inside of you that needs to be healed, if you haven't cleared out all the karma and all of the like ancestral baggage, then you don't want to give birth to a child, because that child's going to have to carry that shit on too. It has to stop with you. You have to become aware. You have to go back through your past lives. You have to communicate with your ancestors. Ask them what needs to be healed, what needs to be cleansed. Work with the galactic ancestors and ask them what needs to be healed and cleansed. And trust. Trust yourself to receive the messages. I know you can feel like crazy or whatever, but we're not. We're not crazy. We're going through this for a reason. We're different for a reason. We're here for a reason, and we know it, or you wouldn't be sitting here right now. And it's not coming from ego. It's just coming from the truth of finally being able to stand up and be like, yeah, I'm different and I'm weird and I'm proud of it. Because unlike a lot of the people, we are actually like wanting things to change, not for us, but for others, for the world, for the next generation. It's not about us at all. It's not about who has this or who has that or what is done or how great you are or if you can deliver this or you can do that. It's simply about bringing forth an intention to heal this earth and to heal the people on it and to love the people on it unconditionally. But when you aren't having that love returned to you, you got to put those boundaries up. You got to break free from those things. You got to break free from the patterns that are bringing you down, which is going to bring me to the last card, which is trust the niggle. And it says, what is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? So I feel like basically anything that you've been like, you know, that little tug inside of you, that like little thought in the back of your mind, that doubt, that like, I don't know, or that little thing inside of you that's like, do it, just do it, don't hold back, just do it. Like whatever's been like nagging you basically, it's time to fucking do it. It's time to face it. Whether it's creating a boundary and saying goodbye to certain people and places, whether it's opening up a connection and being like, hey, guess what? This is who I am. Coming out of the starseed closet, coming out of the spiritual closet, coming out and just being like, yep, this is what I believe. This is who I am. And guess what? I got a lot of shit going on here that I can like back it up with. You know, you're not alone. And you'll find that confirmation through meeting your true soul family, because you know, even though I've had like people come and go, the people I connected with who were part of my tribe, whether they were there for like a few months or whether they were there for years, we did vibe together. We did have similarities together. We were able to connect, understand each other, and grow together. And then eventually, you know, you have to move on to somewhere else, into a different place. And I also feel that like as you evolve and as you shift and as you do this work, you start to separate anyways, because like one of my mentor had said, like the shaman lives on the outside, you know, the shaman lives on the outskirts. The shaman has to be like searched for. You know, if somebody needs healing, if somebody needs help, they go look for the shaman. The shaman isn't like mixed in the middle of everything. So if you've been noticing that like you're becoming more of a loner, like you're not having as many people who are around you, if like people who reach out to you kind of like you just don't want to, you're feeling that push, you're like, like there's just not resonating anymore, you know. And that was what was happening for me. It was like every time I would go a certain place and I would see certain people, I would be like, I didn't feel comfortable. And that's a horrible place to be. Who wants to be somewhere where you're not comfortable? You want to be somewhere where you resonate and you bring information in. But at one point we did, and we learned from each other. But now we need to move on from each other so that we can learn more and that we can create more. But those moments that you connect with people and you find that like you're not the only one who has experienced it, and in those moments when you're with people and you all experience something at the same time, like I love when I host a meditation and I channel in and somebody in the room will be like, at the end we talk about like what they experienced. Somebody in the room will say something and then like everybody else is like, yeah. They all saw the exact same thing, or they all felt the same thing. And I find it's because it's the energy and frequency. So if I call in the energy and frequency of the Andromedans, you know, the people in the room, a lot of them will see like a similar thing. A lot of them will see the same thing. Like, you know, one night I did the Andromedans and it was like this woman saw a woman in an all white dress. This woman saw this like very white woman with like no clothes. This other woman saw it with all white hair. And then one of the ladies there actually ended up going and getting her hair done white after that night. But what I'm saying is there was a similar energy and frequency, and that we all decode in our own way. But you might decode in a similar way so that you get that synchronicity, so that you get that confirmation that you're not crazy. So when you start finding people who resonate with you, work together so that you can open up more. I feel like working with certain people can assist you in awakening more inside of you. Like, you may need to give somebody a healing, or you may need to receive a healing from somebody so that you can kind of like expand more. And that may be it. That may be the only part of the contract that needs to be served. And once it's served, the contract is done, and you know the ties are broken, and you go on your own way. We, as humans, we go into this place of like, what did I do wrong? Oh my God, why is it like that? But as a spiritual person, or as like a spiritual being of knowing and realizing and recognizing everything happens for a reason, we don't question it or doubt it. We just go, okay, it's time to move on to the next thing, or it's time to like find, you know, the next step, or the next person who's going to actually serve and understand and remain. And you know, I understand it hurts, but we have to let that go. We have to heal this stuff. We have to clear the karma. We have to heal anything inside of ourselves that's not serving us, so that the next generation, so that the planet, so that the consciousness, so that everybody can start vibrating higher without these limitations, without these expectations placed on self. Sorry. And the bottom of the deck is Akasha. It says your guidance is divinely guided. So I feel like that's the perfect thing for what I've been speaking of. And we do have like an Akashic record. We all have like these records of us, inside of us, that we can easily tune in and tap into and like get information from. You are the one who experienced your past lives. You're the one that's been through them. Your family is all part of this as well. So realize that everything is guided. Everywhere you go, everybody you meet, everything you do, there's a purpose for it. There's a reason for it. And if there's something that you want to understand more, like we were saying with like the past life stuff, like I went to the beach one day and the wave came up really quickly. I got out of nowhere and I just jumped up and grabbed the blanket and I was like, we gotta go. And I feel like that was connected to Atlantis, because the first memory I ever had as a child was underneath the water and seeing everybody like stuck inside of the buildings and everything. And I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't put it together until I was older, and that's the first memory I ever had. So I know that there's an Atlantis thing inside of me that really still needs to be healed, because it wasn't that long ago that I freaked out on the beach. So those are the things that we pay attention to. The Akashic records hold all of this, but you hold all of it too inside of yourselves, the way you react to things. You know, like, I used to be deathly afraid of spiders, but now it's like one will walk over me and I'm like, what's up? There's ways to heal your consciousness. There's ways to reprogram your mind so that you're not holding on to false beliefs. Like, unless it's a freaking deadly spider that's gonna like come kill me with a gun, I'm not gonna freak out about it. But before, I did. So that just shows me that we can reprogram and shift our thoughts, our feelings, and our reactions to things. So like, I want to be able to go to the ocean and not get triggered if a wave comes up. So I need to go back into that past life, look deeper into that, and figure out what happened. And as we do that, we clear off that shit that was like keeping our vibration from rising, and then we allow that vibration to shift, and we go through the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, but it keeps going up and it keeps going up. And as you rise and as your energy rises, you attract more of the same of that. You attract more abundance, more light, more like alignment and healing and expansion. And yeah, sometimes it can feel real shitty, and other times it can feel real good, but that's what it's all part of. That's what you signed up to do. You're here to make a change. You're here to shift consciousness. You're here to shift your own body. You're here to shift for others. But you're also here to recognize like how powerful you are, but how important you are, and how important it is for you to like place you first, to be the mother for yourself. And I just keep seeing this over out of the corner of my eye. Yeah, Soma from the galactic heart, Mayu. And it's 36, and it's, so if we add up the 3 and the 6, we have 9. So I do feel like right now we're shifting into this new beginning where the energy of the stars, the Pleiadians, the Lyrians, Andromedans, Vegans, Avians, all of this is going to expand. Everything is going to shift. You're going to start coming from your heart more. You're going to start loving yourself more. The people in your life are shifting and leaving for a reason, so that new ones can come in, so that you can vibrate together, so that you can nurture each other, so that you can do what you're meant to do, and to anchor this light and this vibration into Gaia, into the beings here, and to shift the consciousness. And just you being near somebody sometimes, just you saying one little thing to them, asking them one little question, or being there to hear their words, it helps them on some level, you know, like whether they're aware of it or they're unaware of it, it doesn't matter. And people are drawn to the places that they need to go. So shine your light bright so that the right people come to you. And be aware of the darkness that's out there, because sometimes when your light shines a little bright, darkness can be like pulled to it too. So protect yourself. Don't go out there wondering and worrying that, you know, oh, there's darkness around every corner, because then you're going to start manifesting it. And everything is a manifestation of our thoughts and our consciousness. And fear or love, you get to choose. If you start manifesting out of fear, yeah, you're going to have attachments and cords and nasty energy all over you. But if you start manifesting out of love and thinking in a vibration of love and knowing that you're protected and knowing that you don't need anything to protect you other than yourself, then you'll be vibrating in that right vibration to bring the people in that aren't going to be like energy suckers, that aren't going to, you know, hurt you or take from you. They're going to nurture you. They're going to mimic the same energy you're putting out. So just keep doing the work that you need to do, because these people are coming. The new soul family is coming in, and they may not be like in the physical. I feel like it's going to be a lot of that ancestral stuff, because we have the keepers of the earth. So I do feel like you're going to be connecting more through like your ancestors, through spirit. So you need to spend some time alone so that you can connect. You know, if I didn't spend time alone, I wouldn't have the time to do these readings. I wouldn't have the time to do the stuff that I do. I wouldn't have the energy to do it. And I don't get paid to do this, but I do it because I know that it helps. I know that it helps other people. And I know that we're all going through it. And it also helps me. It gives me a place to share my voice and to share my truth and to like put my light out there so that others of the same vibration can come and we can all connect. And when I get messages from people that say they've been following for years and that, you know, the messages resonate and thank you, like that is enough payment for me to be like, okay, thank you. You know, I'm not here to feed my ego. I'm not here to cause separation. I'm not here to feed into illusions. I know I have a lot of stuff to heal inside of me. I know I'm not perfect, but I do want to open up. I do want others to open up. I want us all to get into that energy of being playful and happiness and light, finding the right people who are going to serve us, and, you know, establishing the boundaries that I need to have. Like, I know I'm still not perfect with that. Like, a lot of times when people ask me things that I don't want, I still do, because I'm just like, ugh. And I'm getting better about it, and it's getting a lot easier because there's nobody left around me asking me for shit anymore. But that, again, is what I'm saying. Like, if you're not establishing those healthy boundaries, things are going to happen so that you have to. So if you're not establishing the boundaries, guess what? You're going to have, like, nobody left around you to even have boundaries with, so it doesn't really apply. So then when you do start bringing people in, it's that test again. Like, are you going to keep the boundaries up, or are you going to repeat the past? And if you repeat the past, then you're going to ripple these people away from you. So it's about wakening up and taking, you know, ownership for your place in the things that are going on in your life and in your experience and in your consciousness and the things that are going on around you. Just be mindful of it. And whatever's like that little thing in the back of your head that's been telling you, like, you should do this, or, you know, telling you should stop doing something, like, if you've been focusing all your time, attention, and energy on something that you know in the back of your mind isn't really going to serve you, isn't really going anywhere, maybe you were, like, leading yourself to think something that wasn't true, maybe you were getting caught up into, like, you know, an illusion, or your heart was so invested into something, and you have to trust yourself. And I feel like if you don't start listening to it, you're going to start seeing things that really hurt. And sometimes it sucks, you know, like I had something happen recently where it was like I finally got to my breaking point, and it was a stupid little thing, but it was enough to show me that, like, yeah, that's not ever going to shift. Like, it may shift sometime, like way down in the future, but I just don't feel like it's going to shift anytime soon. So I'm not going to continue to, like, bring my energy there, or to, like, entertain that energy, because it was something, again, where my boundaries weren't being honored. I wasn't being honored. I was being taken advantage of and treated poorly. So I stepped away from that. So you need to start doing that for yourself before the universe, because I wasn't, more bad happened. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, there was this little shitty thing that happened and I was okay. And then it came back and it was like, hey, let me do more shitty shit. And then it was like, not okay. And then you come okay. And there's like, they come back and it's like back and forth. It was back and forth for a while. And then I thought it was going okay. I was feeding into this like delusion apparently where I thought this person actually cared. And then I finally had like that realization, like this person doesn't give a shit at all. But if you don't listen to that, because there was that little nagging voice in the back of my head all along, like, this doesn't feel right, I think this is this, I think this is that, and I had other people around me giving me readings, giving me advice, giving me information that would make me go, okay, maybe I'm not crazy, maybe this is it. And I still go back and forth in my mind, like, I really have no idea the divine purpose behind that one situation, but it's time for me to dive into the Akashic Records. It's time for me to dive into my cellular memories, into my past lives. Because I actually got a message today in regards to that there's something in our past lives that need to be healed so that that person stops treating people in that way. Because I'm sure it's not just me that they treat in that way. And whatever they're doing, it's a result of a past life issue that happened to be carried into this lifetime that I'm kind of like downloading right now, and I'm seeing like how it played out. So that has to be healed and cleansed so that that person can move on in their life and not repeat that cycle, and that they can find the happiness that they want. And we need to be allowing ourselves to do that. We can't claim anybody. We can't hold on to things that don't resonate anymore. You can't force somebody to want to be near you or be your friend or to talk to you as one goes by. You kind of just have to let people be who they are. Focus on yourself, that inner temple of love. Bring it all into yourself. You know, how would you want to be treated? How would you want to feel? If you weren't resonating anymore with a certain thing, would you want to be pushed in your face all the time, or would you want to separate from it? Like, it's not only about setting healthy boundaries for yourself, it's about having boundaries with others and not doing anything that's going to like impede upon other people's energy and their space and their time and what they want. You know, if you feel like somebody doesn't want you around anymore, you have that little, like, I felt like that for a while in my community. I was like, I just didn't feel the same anymore, and I kept, listening to others again. Oh, no, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. But they're not you. They don't get it. They don't see the little things. They don't feel that little stuff. They don't have the little niggle. So when you've got that inside of you, trust it. Stop allowing other people to manipulate. And it's not that they're trying to manipulate, but stop allowing yourself to be manipulated by false illusions. If you feel something's off, own it. Walk away from it. And if it's not off and you walk away from it and it was like worth anything to somebody else, then they'll show up and like come back and be like, hey, you know what, blah, blah, blah. But again, it's a result of energy and frequency and where you're at. So I really feel like the main message right now is getting in contact with our heart, the galactic heart. And the bottom here is protection. Call back your power. Cut the cords for soul retrieval. So that's confirmation on everything I was just saying. We need to cut the cords that are draining us. We have to let go. We have to protect ourselves. We have to remain protected. Protecting ourselves and not hurting each other, not hurting like individually or collectively. We have to protect ourselves from that. And call back in your power through your heart. Get connected. Allow yourself to go to that soul retrieval. A soul retrieval goes back into the past lives, to the places of the soul that were hurt or damaged, those places where those false beliefs were taken on, the places where people were hurt, damaged, and they carried it into this next life as some false belief, or even just your ancestors saying, like, money is the root of all evil. If you carry that belief around, well, guess what? You're never going to manifest. You're never going to manifest any money. And not that that matters in this, like, big scheme of things, because everything you need is manifested for you here, like, without money. But what I mean is, like, you gotta, like, connect the things in your life that are manifesting as a result of what you think. Like, if you think that all women are a certain way, that's the people that you're gonna attract in. And even if a woman isn't that certain way, you're gonna like think she is, so you're gonna like see things about her that make you feel that way. You're gonna doubt her, question her, and not trust her. So you gotta go back, do some soul retrieval, heal that shit that makes you feel that way, whatever happened in a past life that some woman did something to somebody, and let it go. And we also gotta remember to take time out and have fun. It doesn't always have to be serious. Longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. So I do feel like this is where we're at right now, where we have that call inside of us. We're feeling lonely because we are, the starseeds. I find like there's a lot of people out there that resonate with the information. They feel like they're connected to it, but there's not a whole lot of them that actually carry that vibration. I meet people with energy that they hold inside of them, but they're not in it. They're not fully awakened. They haven't done the study, and they haven't understood all of the stuff. They haven't looked into the history. They haven't looked into their history. They haven't dived deep enough in yet for us to have that same understanding. So yeah, there's a lot of times I'm sitting there like that, and I'm like, I just want to go home. I just want to go back, because there's really nobody here that gets it. And then when I meet people who I didn't get it, they don't. They end up like shifting away, or they it's just not the same. It ends up changing, or things come up and it's like, ugh. So yeah, there is this overall longing for home inside of us, but home is inside of us. It's inside of us. So release the patterns, release the soul patterns, contracts, and past lives that aren't serving you. Release the doubts and the fears. Allow yourself to get back into alignment with that home inside of you. And again, what lights you up? What makes you happy? Do more of that. Go to the ocean. Go outside at night. Connect with the stars. Get into the energy of nature. Ground. Starseeds never want to ground because they don't really want to be here. And I get it. But that's part of our mission. And when you do ground and you do kind of bring yourself back down to earth, it gets a little bit easier to navigate around here. And you do end up having more fun. And you have more time. So, this is from the different deck. This is from the Earth Warriors Oracle. So I just want to see what the book says real quick, because I love this book. I haven't used this deck in a while, but it was like calling out to me as I was sitting there. This is on the, like I have a line of cards over there that are just lined up, and that one was on the bottom of it, so it was like staring at me. So Soma from the Galactic Heart is the divine mother's milk of the galaxy, feeding your soul. Expansion of your horizons, your spiritual purpose, and your sacred responsibilities is taking place. Divine potential within you is awakening at a higher turn of the creative spiral of consciousness. This oracle is prophecy of ascension and grace. In a reading, your soul has been going through a deep spiritual feeding process and is growing rapidly. The evidence of this is in the outer world, will be a sense of expansion of opportunity, reach, connections, and new levels of spiritual experiences. This oracle foretells of welcoming in a new phase of life. Newborn energies and fertility, whether biological, creative, or psychological, are being stimulated. The oracle indicates a discovery, development, expression of talents. An increasingly public profile, which moves you to the spotlight, can help you fulfill your divine life mission, provided that you keep your inner connection to spirit as the highest priority. The oracle speaks of soul healing around matters of trust, spirit, mother, and abundance. In the spiritual guidance, Mayu, the star goddess of the Milky Way, was seen clearly in the skies of the ancient Incas. In Western traditions, the Milky Way is recognized as a metaphor for nourishment and the milk of the heavens. When she appears as an oracle, it is an omen of happiness, satisfaction, and fulfillment. If you develop your spiritual practice, you shall come to experience feeling drunk on divine bliss, like a baby in ecstasy of complete fulfillment through the mother's milk. When we connect with the galactic heart, it is a sign of spiritual advancement. We are growing in such a way that our being becomes ready, willing, and able to take up the spiritual space in the atmosphere. You will express that spiritual growth in your life according to your talents. If you are a thinker, your ideas will become more inspired, expansive, and original. If you are a healer, you will experience the flow of a new quality of divine consciousness through your work. If you are a leader, you will experience a feeling of being overshadowed by something truly great, kind, and helpful, whilst at the same time feeling more fearless, bold, and confident to speak your truth and guide those in your care. Whatever the truth of your soul encounters with the galactic heart are granted in order to evoke, expand, and empower it upon the earth. Some interpretations of the Vedas from the ancient India see the Milky Way as the heavenly soma, the nectar of immortality, and the drink of the divine. Soma can feed the soul, but like any food, healthy or otherwise, too much of at any given time is hard to digest and can create more harm than good. More divine light and energy is not always better, at least not when we try to take it all at once. We need to learn when enough is enough, to detach from the Divine Mother's breast and rest in contentment and fulfillment of the present moment. To allow ourselves to be spiritually fed, to know when to latch on and when to detach from the inflow of spiritual energy, to allow for the mind, body, and soul to adjust to the increased levels of light and spiritual nutrition, and to metabolize that for healing growth. We need to feel trust and surrender into the Divine Feminine. If we have had difficult issues around trust, support, and nourishment as human beings, then clearing those issues through grace, so as to be able to receive the heavenly nectar without greed or fear, is important. Mayu offers healing of these matters with grace. Duration allows us to utilize the blessing and become ready for further expansion when it is time to be fed again. We trust that her sacred food will be available when needed. We can learn to rest into all that the Galactic Mother will provide for our soul, growing us into the fullness of our spiritual radiance and maturity, one dose of her extraordinary blessed soma at a time. So yeah, I find that funny that when I pulled out the Star Mother, I was saying, oh, this is the Galactic Mother, and then we got Soma, the Galactic Heart. It says Galactic Heart on here, but they're calling her the Galactic Mother in the book. So that's our confirmation. I feel like that kind of wrapped everything up and kind of gave us that confirmation on it. So I hope that you're all doing well. I know that things have been intense, things have been shifting. I am sending you guys love. I appreciate your comments and your likes. I appreciate your time and your kind words that you share with me. I am offering different readings for different areas of your life. If you wanted to have a reading in regards to like your purpose, your mission, if you wanted to have a reading in regards to your counterpart, I do offer all of that, and I'll put that in the description. The best way to get in contact with me is through my email, but you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram. My Facebook page is Divine Essentials. If you're in the nearby area, I have a link down below that's connected to all the upcoming events that I have, where I'm having a couple of spiritual groups that I'm going to be starting. For one is just for women. It's going to be on all the full moons, where we come together and we manifest together and we work together and heal any past trauma. And the other group is for men and women, for us to kind of go together and release the programming and the bullshit in our minds that don't serve us. And I plan to have that one meet monthly as well. Depends on how many people sign up and how often they can come together. But those are two of the things that I feel are important right now, for us to reach out to our peeps, to find our soul family, to find the people who are going to resonate, especially if you have people who are walking away at this time. You want to make room for new people to come. And if you're feeling a call for that, look in your community, look in your local community to find a person or a place that's going to open you up. And if you had bad experiences in the past, don't allow it to leave you jaded. Don't allow it to keep you ugh. I mean, yes, you want to make sure that you're spending time alone so that you can integrate and download the stuff that you receive, but you don't want to cut yourself off completely either. You want to have balance. And the same thing in regards to spiritual work. We need to have balance between doing readings and healings and getting outside and doing some work in the garden and things like that. So balance and bring it all together. I hope you have a beautiful night in Munay. Namaste.